Hey, hey. So I want to talk for a second about comparison. And as you know, comparison is a thief of joy, which of course is like something we rationally know, but it's easy to find ourselves caught in that idea or that trap of comparing ourselves to others. So a couple things you can do in your journal as you're building this journaling habit, you can start a win journal. When you start a win journal, it's like a piece of the gratitude, right? It's like you're bringing attention and energy to the positives, to the things that are going well. And that's going to keep you out of like, the I'm not good enough energy that comes with comparison and keep you in the energy of like, all right, I have momentum. Look what I did for myself. Celebrating those little wins are what they're going to anchor that in and make it a part of who you are and make it more easy and more automatic to continue. So that's going to be one huge thing. The second thing is to notice when it comes to comparison, what are you comparing? Like, who are you comparing yourself to, or what are you comparing yourself to? One thing I see often is we compare ourselves to our old self, pre-COVID, pre-kids, pre-traumatic event, pre-loss of someone, pre-job change, pre-relationship change. And so when we compare ourselves to like our old self, it's like we're only picking at certain parts of it. We're not then able to like A, go back in time to that experience, and then B, like we're just taking little pieces of it to take to now to compare ourselves to it. So from that, you can also tune into like, well, what was going well and how do I get back to doing the things that were really working and serving me instead of just like the overall idea. One thing that makes sense, and I share this example often, is like if you compare yourself to your college self and you're like, well, I used to be, 50 pounds and now I'm 500 million pounds. It's like, hold on a second. A, those are ridiculous exaggerations, but B, like, what were you doing at that point? Oh, you were smoking cigarettes and drinking Diet Coke and like skipping all your meals. Okay. Well, you comparing yourself back then to what you are now when you're like living with kids, with a job, feeling like you are a human being. You're not living off cigarettes and Diet Coke or whatever it was, right? You're taking pieces, parts, and you're comparing. You're not comparing like you can't compare the whole thing, right? So that's another piece. The other thing is like if it's social media you're comparing on, then just mute, unfollow, hide, curate your social media to be the most uplifting, positive, supportive, educational, motivational, inspirational piece of content that you could find. I go to my Instagram to be lifted up, to be inspired, to be turned on to a new recipe, to be, given a great quote, to be given something. If something is continuously causing me to compare myself, I have to mute and hide. If your social media is lowering your vibe, make a change on it. That is 100% in your control. And you can decide, you can mute people without them knowing, you can hide their stuff, you can unfollow them if it's a random person that you're like, oh, I thought this was inspirational. And I'm noticing it's actually not inspirational. It's actually bringing me down. So do that. Also, of course, you know this, but like, I mean, it is not motivating to compare yourself. And so oftentimes we're also seeing people's highlight reels, right? I mean, myself included, I post on Instagram all the time and I'm always sharing like the good stuff. I'm not going to share this really hard stuff that we're sometimes going through as a family because it's not like I will happily talk to you about it as a client and a friend, but I'm not going to just put it, it's also not my business to share some of the stuff that we're going through as a family out on social media, right? So you are my like I have made a conscious decision to share like uplifting things. That means that you don't see some of the things that we're always working through. So just know that that's the case with every single person, right? So that is what's happening if you're using like social media or just like snippets of other people to compare to. The other thing, last one I'm going to leave you with, is if you're comparing yourself, then make sure you're comparing like all the things, not just some of the things. So if you're comparing results to results, if you're like, oh, so and so has lost 10 pounds and I've lost 2, then it's like, are you comparing action? Well, so and so is sleeping 8 hours a night and I'm sleeping 4. And so is, journaling and focused on positive energy every single day. And I'm just now getting into that. And so is lifting weights 4 days a week and running 100 miles a week. And I am going to yoga 3 days a week. All of that is fine. It's just that you can't, again, take one piece to compare and not all the things. We're all created so different. Our lives are all so different. Our stresses are so different. Our mindset is so different. The place that we're starting is so different, right? They may have been working, and then all of a sudden it's coming together, or they may be doing something that's really short term and that's great. They're getting results right now, but then what, right? Like I just had a conversation and I was just sharing this about a girl whose husband was doing a meat only diet, like carnivore diet and he was like losing all this weight. And she's like, well, I'm not like losing at that rate. I'm like, you can. Do you want to do it? You want to do a carnivore diet? You want to just only eat meat? And then what? Right? We are in this for the lifestyle, for the long-term change, for the support. We can always turn up the heat on the actions. I can always tell you what to do if you want better results, but you are at the same time creating the different behavior so that you're not done with this. So hopefully that helps you. Let me know what support you need, and I'm here for you.